Hello everyone and welcome to Real Chalk Reviews. We are finally back with Zach and Fatima. This is the highly anticipated, long-awaited Tyler Perry Zatima. This review is for Season 3, Episode 1, Counting the Cost. So we open up the episode with Zach and Fatima, and she's trying to sneak out to go to work because she doesn't want to disturb him, when all the while he's over there pretending to be asleep, so he catches her. And we know that in the finale of Season 2, Miss Gladys, Zach's mom, she passed away. So Fatima is worried about him. And he says he doesn't really know how to feel about it. You know, it just happened. And she suggested that he talk to Dr. Reed. And he said he'll do it after the funeral, but he needs to first plan a funeral, and he doesn't know how. But of course, that's not a real issue because Fatima is willing to help him out with that. Also in the Season 2 finale, we find out that Fatima is pregnant. So they talk about living and rising together, and Zach, he jokes with her about covering up her tatas because she's a mom now. And Fatima lets him know, no sir, everything is not getting ready to change just because, okay? So she's telling him she really doesn't want to leave him alone, and he says he's just going to go into the office and see what Bryce has going on. We already know Bryce ain't worth a hill of beans because I'm going to be on his head. I did not like how he handled the situation. Zach asked him not to do something, and he went ahead and did it anyway, and had the audacity to talk about, oh, if I wouldn't have been hooked up with the likes of you trying to blame Zach for something he did. I'm still on his head. But anyway, Zach says that his accounts are still in the negative. So he doesn't know if Bryce got the money from his daddy yet or not. But Fatima, she offers to wire him some money to help him out. And I'm like, are they implying that Fatima is sitting on $1.5 million? Or was she just going to give him something like a little yang? I'm like, okay then, girl, I see you. But Zach, you know, he says, no, that's not what we're going to do. But if I really need you, I'll let you know. So they play around and they talk about having a baby and whether it's a girl or a boy and what the baby's name should be, Zatima, Zakisha. So do you guys think they're going to have a girl or a boy? And what are some of your suggestions for some baby names? Drop down in the comments and let me know. So while all of that is going on, we go outside and we see Preston, a.k.a. Rodeo, a.k.a. Cowboy. And Deja, she's out there getting out of her car with her groceries. Of course, she spots him because Deja, she sees everything. And she's like, who are you? Ooh, you so fine. And one thing about Deja, she ain't never scared. She will ask the questions and wanted to know what you doing out here. So he says that he's Zach's friend, and she's like, well, you want me to go knock on the door? And he says he'll just wait. And she was like, for what? And I was like, for what? Like, why are you standing outside? Like, that didn't make sense. But anyway, Deja was like, go knock on the door. They up. And he was like, well, who are you? She tells him she's the next door neighbor and says her name is Deja. And she's like, who are you? And he says, Preston. And she's like, ooh, Preston, pressed all up in Deja. And he's like, excuse me? She was like, look, I'm just being me. I said, I know that's right. And Preston's response to that was, by all means. That's something we all need to do. Basically letting it be known he don't need you being fake and phony around him. And I'm not mad at this little hookup. I can see it happening. So Fatima, she comes out basically busting Deja's hustle, sending her in the house. And Deja over there talking about, I can't even flirt. That was a Preston, call me, boo. I'm like, girl, you didn't even give him your phone number. But, you know, Deja is just funny. So Fatima, she greets Preston and she says, Danny's Preston. And he says, no, just Preston. Like, I'm solo out here in these streets. No attachments. So she wanted to know what brought him out that way. He said he heard about Zach's mom and wanted to know how he was doing. So Fatima was like, why don't you go and ask him yourself? So she takes him in the house. So Zach, he comes down and they dap it on up and he's like, what are you doing here? Preston says that he heard about his mom and Zach wanted to know how. He says he saw it on one of Danny's posts asking for prayers. So low key, he is stalking and has yet to unfollow Danny on social media. So then Preston starts asking like 101 questions and Zach, he gets annoyed. But he's just trying to be there for comfort and try to keep Zach's mind up off of his mom the best that he can or whatever. He's just trying to be a friend. So Preston was asking, are you going to work? I'm just trying to hang out with you, trying to be there for you. So Zach gives him the side eye like, be there for me how? Because the last person that tried to be there for me got punched in the face. So Preston wanted to know why the person got punched, and he told him because he tried to kiss him. Preston says that's what they call a cockle-doodle-doo, and he promises that he will not try to kiss Zach. And after a bunch of foolishness about what they can and cannot say to each other, Zach finally says he can come to the office with him. But then Zach, he blames all of this on Danny. And I'm like, is Danny going to make a little guest appearance this season on Zatima? So we get a scene with Connie, Nate, and Tony, and she called them all together because she needed help. Miss Gladys left her as the executor over her insurance policy, where she's the one that distributes the money between Zach and Jeremiah. And she fears that Jeremiah already has a letter about it because they say he's checking the mailbox every day looking for a check. So she doesn't really want to be the one in charge, and she doesn't know what to do about it. So Tony suggests that she talks to Fatima, and Connie said that she had thought about that. But oh, hating ass Nate over there talking about this is family business and we don't even know her like that, but I don't hear you coming up with a solution, sir. And then had the audacity to say, for all he knows, Fatima might try to steal the money. Really? Like, Nate, go sit down somewhere. Tony and Connie told him he would be the one trying to steal the money. And then he changes his mind and says that it would be good to tell her because this will be a good test for her. Like, Nate, please. So Connie says she wants to talk to her, but not around Zach, and that she does have her phone number, which I don't know how she got Fatima's number because she used Zach's car phone, but whatever. So Tony says he'll get her Fatima's work address, and I'm like, really? The one true thing that Nate did tell them about her going to Fatima's job was, this is not going to end well. So we go over there to the law firm, and Fatima and Angela, they're just getting to work, so they chop it up for a quick minute. When they go inside, they see Connie in there. So Fatima steps to her like, Connie, what are you doing here? Like, you just going to show up to my job like you know me like that? And she says she just wants to talk to her. So Connie does tell her that it's about Miss Gladys and Jeremiah, and since she doesn't know anything about the law, that's why she's coming to ask her for help. So reluctantly, Fatima tells her just go into her office. So Connie, she slings her braids all up in Angela's face, and she's like, ooh, Connecticut. So after talking a bunch of nonsense, Connie finally tells Fatima why she's there, and she shows her the insurance policy that Miss Gladys had for $25,000 and says that Miss Gladys wanted her to be the one that divided the money up between Zach and Jeremiah. But she doesn't want to do it, and she's there because she wants to sign it over to Fatima so she can handle it. So Connie says that one of the main concerns is giving Jeremiah his money all at one time because we know he's on these drugs real bad. So he'll be acting a whole donkey out in these streets if he gets that kind of money all at one time. And she doesn't want to be responsible for that. Now, Fatima did tell her she did not want to be responsible for it either. And Connie pretty much insisted, like, I don't know the law. I don't want to handle any of that. I don't know what I'm doing. And Connie pretty much just pushed the paperwork on to Fatima. And Fatima had to tell her, look, I'll just have to talk to Zach about it. And she slightly and politely dismissed her from her office. And for some reason, it feels like they're trying to make Connie into a Deja 2.0, and it's just not the same. So over there at Rise Ventures, Zach and Preston, they finally make it in there. And before Zach could even settle down in good, here comes Bryce sticking his head in the door. So he comes in there trying to make small talk, talking about he doesn't know what to say. And Zach is like, I do. You could start by telling me when your dad is going to give you the money. So he says that it's supposed to be there sometime that day, and Zach wants to know exactly when. And he says, I don't know, but I'll go find out and call him. Like, you do that, because why are you even talking to me if you don't have my money? So Bryce, he introduces himself to Preston as Zach's partner. And of course, Zach had to let it be known it was business partner, but if he doesn't have any money, there will be no business. So that was Bryce's cue to go and call his dad, and Zach let it be known, make sure you call from your office, like pretty much get out. So Preston told Zach he wasn't really nice to Bryce and was asking, was he the one that tried to kiss him? And Zach basically just deflected and said that he's thinking about doing his own thing. So Preston wanted to know how was the whole real estate thing going. So Zach told him everything was going good until Bryce went and invested into some property that they couldn't afford. Preston asked Zach, was he not in a good place? And Zach admitted that he was not. Between dealing with his mom passing and Bryce basically, taking all his money, it's just a lot going on. So Preston, he's trying to be a stand-up guy by telling Zach if he ever needed to borrow some money, just let him know he got him. So Zach, he starts laughing, saying he been meaning to ask Preston, look, you have that raggedy truck outside and you got on those rundown cowboy boots and you expect me to believe you have money. I'm like, really? That was very judgmental. But quiet as it's kept, those are the ones that have all the money. It be the flashy ones that's driving around in the Lamborghinis and the thick chains round their neck that their bank accounts are sitting in the negative. Now catch those T's. So Preston tells him he does all right. Zach wants to know what that means. Preston says exactly what I said. I said, ooh, child, I like that. Now we go back over to the law firm and Fatima gets a phone call from Connie and she's calling her to let her know that Jeremiah was notified by the insurance company about the policy. And she told Jeremiah that Fatima and Zach were handling everything. So Fatima was wondering why would she tell Jeremiah that, because Zach has a lot going on already. And Connie tells her that she didn't want Jeremiah to be out there hurting her or her kids. So Fatima questioned that and she was like, no, he's a good dude. It's just when he's out here on that stuff, he's out there wilding out. So Fatima, still not really wanting to be bothered with the situation, told her all right, and they hang up the phone. So we go back over to Rise Ventures and Zach is on the phone trying to make plans for his mom's funeral, getting pricing for caskets and all of that, and apparently they're high as a kite. So he hangs up with them, and when Bryce comes in, he thinks he's going to get some good news, and Bryce basically tells him that his dad says he can't give him the money, and Zach, he goes slap off as he should. So he's saying to him again, I told you not to do that. We couldn't afford it and you did it anyway. He's standing there with a straight face like, oh, it was a good deal. Like, Bryce, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. What is wrong with you? Something is not right with Bryce. So Zach tells him, now I can't even afford to bury my mom. And he's standing over there like, I promise I'm going to get it back. And he keeps saying he's sorry. And Zach is over there trying to do everything he can not to get on that ass. And he's like, look, you keep saying you're sorry. What am I supposed to do with that? Preston, he stands up kind of like getting in between them and asks Zach how much does he need. And Zach low-key kind of undermines Preston again by saying we're talking about some real money, as if Preston can't possibly have it. But Zach, he was heated. He told Bryce that they were done. The whole Rise Ventures thing was over. Can't nobody rise from that but Jesus, and they don't have 3 days. So Zach, he can't take it. He tells Bryce to give him his effing money. Now Bryce is yelling, talking about get out my effing face. And I'm like, what? How are you going to try to beat him mad? How dare you? Zach, he has to calm his own nerves down because he says he feels like he's being effed right now, and he remembers how Dr. Reed told him to breathe. Just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Child, Bryce got a lot of nerves. Child, we go back over there to the law firm. Fatima trying to go to her car, and Jeremiah is in the parking lot. And she's like, did Connie tell you where I worked? And he said, no, I heard you say it before. So Jeremiah says he's there to talk, and Fatima told him come by the house and they could sit down and all talk together. He says that Zach is not going to want to talk to him. So Fatima peeped that he was high and told him she wasn't dealing with that. And he says, well, maybe a little bit, but where's the money? Fatima said, what money? He said the money from the insurance, and Connie told him that she had it. So Fatima was telling him, I don't know why she told you that. There is no money. He insisted that there was. Cursing, give me the effing money. She's like, I can't help you. I can't help you. The two of them, they go tussling back and forth. The next thing you know, he snatched her purse and she went flying on her car. And now she's on the ground. And that's where the episode ends. Woo, child. Bryce and Jeremiah done lost their rabbit-ass minds. You hear me? What did you guys think of the premiere to Zatima Season 3? Drop down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.